Hi everybody.
Hello.
So, who are we and why this podcast? This has been waiting to happen for a very long time over many conversations that Nandini and I have had over the years about Indian values in today's times. We would just jokingly say that, we should just start a podcast. And here it is. Vartalapa or conversation is just that, a conversation between people about lived experiences relating to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. What do these words mean in daily life? We talk about these all the time, but what does it really mean? We just want to learn from each other and make these words and the ideas they represent a part of what we do every day. Rave Cultural Foundation was founded in 2018 to share and celebrate Indian performing arts with the Northwest Arkansas community. It seeks to not just present events and classes, but create new contexts for people to come together and learn more about each other. So I am Srividya Venkatasubramanya, the founder and currently the executive director of Rave Cultural Foundation. Today I'm discussing what it really means to be an Indian artist in Northwest Arkansas, or just in the US generally. I have with me here today Sikha Sunit, Megha Rao, and Athira Omanakuttan. Thank you all so much for coming. Let's just start with a very quick introduction from all of you.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Sure.
Myself, Sikha. I'm working as a technical project manager with Synchrony Financial. And I'm also the founder of Daffodils Dance Group, where a group of passionate moms, I would say, we come together and dance at our free times.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Megha Rao, and I'm the artistic director of Dhirana Academy of Classical Dance. I have been a dancer, a performer for 3 decades now, and I have around a decade of experience in performing, in teaching and choreography. I have extensively traveled across Central America and India and performed. At Dhirana, we want to widen awareness about Indian classical dance forms, and so at Dhirana we train kids as young as 5 years to adults to bring that strong foundation in Bharatanatyam. And our aim is basically to bridge the gap between society and the cultural, divine art form. So that's our basic goal. And we perform at all cultural, community, commercial, corporate events.
Nice.
That was nice.
Hi, I am Athira, and I am currently working as a lab scientist at Kindbody Rogers. And I also have a dance school named LasyaRasa School of Dance, where I teach Kuchipudi and Mohiniyattam for both kids and adults. And why I started this LasyaRasa is to give an exploration for the tradition and the grace that we have in back in India to the community over here, both for the Indians and for the non-Indians as a diversity part.
Awesome. Yeah, and we just love working with all of you beautiful women. And, that was one of the first things I noticed. You're all dancers. You all dress so beautifully for this town.
You have to see it's at home.
So let's get into this, right? So what are some of the challenges that you face here as an artist? Because all of you came here for a certain reason, right? Perhaps it was your own or for other reasons. And so how did it all start? Where did your journey start and what were some of the challenges you faced?
I can go first. Okay. So the main couple of challenges that I have faced over years and I've been trying to, along with Rave, have been trying to overcome is, one is the audience. The second one is the funding, which are our huge problems as an artist. Although there are many organizations now trying to cover that, gap, but no, it takes lot more than just few organizations and few people to cover that gap. We have to, as an artist, we have to go with begging bowl everywhere to everybody, anybody, and we're ready to do that. But should it be that difficult? Is art that lame and non-important? Is something that, I keep asking, and I want everybody to ask themselves that, how important is art to your child or you, perhaps, for your mental development or for your, happiness and creativity and brain development, perhaps. So that is one of the biggest challenges that we have. Second one is the audience. And when I talk about audience, it's not just the diverse audience. It could be Indian community coming to a performance. It could be, American audience coming to a performance. It could be, lack of motivation for parents to send their child to the dance class or for a production paying extra. They don't have motivation because the authorities or schools or organizations or the government has not done anything to make them say that, yes, this is the reason why I want to send them. They can grow and become a professional. Yep. There is no masters in dance here. There is a huge university right in Fatewell, but there is no masters in dance at all. There is no bachelors in dance. There is no fine arts in dance. Like, students do not get credit for their dance classes, and they put literally 100 hours minimum a month, and they still don't get it. Right. So they have to quit dance class and go to band or orchestra that they have absolutely no interest in, but just because of credit. Right. How fair is that? Right. So, all these motivates, parents to, keep up with the art form and, the art form to thrive, I would say.
Right. Awesome. Do you guys want to share?
So basically, one of the main thing, as Megha said, is the financial strain. And the second one, I would say, is the lack of infrastructure, the large spaces that we need for practicing and everything. When it comes to kids or adults, when there are 8 people or more, our garage, it's not
sufficient. Yes.
It's not enough. And the third and the main thing I would say is, the identity and representation of us. When we, for example, Megha spoke about Bharatanatyam, she spoke about other dance forms. What we at Daffodils do is combine all of this together, make something presentable to the audience that they enjoy it. We choreograph it, thinking on in their shoes, what they would like. That journey for us to bring that identity into Daffodils group was the most challenging one. When one of our first performances was about Amazon fire. It was during an Diwali event, which was done. And we were really scared how the audience would take it. We had all these fine props, you remember, right?
Yes.
The fire and all of those things. We tried to convey that message to the audience. Luckily, it was
well received.
Yes, it was well received. And that is where we started our journey with the theme. So that main challenge, how will the audience receive it? That identity and representation of ours, what makes us different from the rest of the performances. That was one of the main challenge. And, every time finding a new theme or new identity to incorporate.
It's draining.
Yes. It's very
exhausting.
draining.
The time, the money,
the music, and especially you have to showcase something that can relate to your audience. It's not just the Indian audience, it has to be the American audience and all the other diverse people that sit before you for the performance. So again, financial strain. When we started, I was not working. Many of the other ladies in our dance group was not working. So we always did DIY things, the order clearance stuff in Walmart. So funding, our financial strain.
Right.
And again, the space. We have to keep our garage clean. So I would say those were some of the very challenging points that we had in Daffodils.
Right.
Oh, I would say my personal challenge. What happened? I was working full-time over there as an assistant professor back in India. And I came here with H4 visa. And what happened was suddenly I don't have any job. So till then, dance was my passion and hobby where I do performances for myself, but not consistently. But then when I came here, suddenly I am jobless and I have a kid, newborn baby, and I didn't know what to do. I was kind of like surprised. Or
New life, new
life,
new challenge.
I've been kind of like down. I don't know what to do.
And I don't know anybody here.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have your family or your
Exactly.
friends.
I didn't know what to do basically. And kind of like Shika kind of like gave me a door. Like, yeah, can you do a kuchipudi or an Onam performance? Then I was like, I was not in shape. I was not doing any practices. I just delivered a baby. I was like, okay, I will do it. So I just jumped into it. And that kind of helped me relieve all the stress.
Do you remember how we did the costume?
Yeah.
Your costume? See, yoga fan.
Everything was, I didn't have a costume because nothing was fitting for me. So only the shoulder and the bottom.
It's like,
and the,
welcome to America.
exactly. So that's what I did. And then the interesting thing was that kind of saved me, that mental trauma that I was having with that free time. I didn't know what to do with it. So I kind of went into it. And then we kind of established that while establishing the Daffodils, we were performing several different kinds of things and creating the what do you say?
Theme.
The dress.
The dress.
Theme and the dress. The
Yeah,
costume was the most funniest thing.
And you guys are amazing at creating themes and building costumes. My God.
So now
The props are like top notch.
So now we can say proudly, okay, we know how to do this. American things and make it Indian.
Make it Indian. Clearance items.
Yeah, clearance
Clearance items.
Especially
No, it has to be cost effective.
Yeah, cheaper ones. And we can do something. Even not even clearance items, we sometimes go to Dollar Tree and buy things. Or we sometimes get the cardboard boxes and make things. So that it looks almost like some people after our last performance, people were asking, how did you get the costume from India? And then we were like, no. It's from India.
I remember asking you for the Mohiniyattam costume.
Yeah, so we do all the time. So now we can say we are kind of like
Professionals.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like my personal challenge. And then LasyaRasa I just began, so I don't know so far.
Right.
Challenges wise, I am working full time, and that is a full job. Like I have to go there mostly 5 days or 6 days a week, and that is like 8 to 6 p.m. Sometimes it is 6 to 6 p.m. Something like that, and that I love to do because my other side is I have a PhD in biotechnology, so I am a scientist too. So I like both. I don't want to choose one so far. But LasyaRasa kind of I created because I want to explore the creative base where I can do something and I can give to the community what I have a little bit, like whether I can give it to them or not. So that's the basic.
And that's the whole thing, right? Like all of you ladies are all, you've all learned dance for many years in India as a child, like from childhood, and you've invested a lot of your time and effort in learning it and practicing it and doing it well enough to be called professional in it, and then you come here and then
You have to
it's like
start
starting
all.
all. You're literally starting
It's
all
like
over again.
you're a beginner and nobody knows you. You have no idea where to start.
Right.
But adding to Shika's point also about the space, we do not have a performing arts center in Bentonville and all. So the number of artists we have, so organizations say, oh, we have Medium, we have Walton Arts Center. It's not in Bentonville.
Yeah.
And we have amazing performing arts center, but they're all, part of schools. And they're not available to us when we need it.
Yep.
And that's a huge problem for us because we don't get opportunities. We have to wait for their time. We can't work with the artists, because if we have to do a production, we have to communicate with multiple artists in multiple cities. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's one other huge problem that we have. Thank you for reminding that.
And and even, when it comes to, I was listening to all of you talk about, the challenges of funding, of space, because both are connected, right? I mean, if it's not your own home, then you go outside, you have to pay for it. I mean, no one's going to do it for free. Even Rave, we charge something. It's not much, but we have to charge something because we have a huge bill to pay, So, but when you really think about the number of children or families, who look to all of you to sustain their arts, to sustain their roots, to kind of identify, to keep that identity of who you are as an Indian, right? I mean, even though we've all migrated here or whatever, our heritage is still very much with our original homeland, right? And that cannot just vanish. It doesn't vanish just like that, because especially the Indian culture, it's such an old culture, so much of our daily lives is connected with that culture. So we just can't erase it, so easily.
We are always Indian at home.
Exactly. No matter what. Right? And I suppose that why should that even be a topic, right?
Yeah,
like, why should that even be considered? I mean, we should be free to
live however we want,
right?
Yeah, true.
And I remember during the pandemic, right? Everybody turned to the arts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's everybody turned to arts. They were not taking another MA degree or another.
Thanks to the mental health that arts provide.
Exactly.
I have many students that when so during the pandemic I had online classes. The first class that I opened after the pandemic, the students came up to me in so much joy, and we were like, thank God we were finally in dance class. They were like, I am so glad that, finally we have some kind of channel to let out our frustration. It was so traumatic sitting at home. I understand. We all went through that. So, arts bring out that happy liberation, happy place that...
Let's talk about that a little more.
I want to add on to that. Actually, pandemic actually helped everyone realize that anybody can do something.
Yes.
Because that digitalization, especially the Instagram, Facebook, everything kind of helped people to watch videos or reels and think that, oh wow, maybe I should try this. So that kind of helped them to get out of their comfort zone.
I am against online classes. I hated it. And the first month the pandemic happened, I cut down all the classes. We were all home. And then Vidya called me and she was like, why? Why should you cut the class? Why should kids suffer because of pandemic? Think about online classes. I'm like, Vidya, I hate online classes. She's like, what do you mean by you hate online classes? You don't have any choice. You can't just let the kids go and, deal with themselves. I'm like, yeah, but let me try. You try whatever you want to try, but you're starting classes. I'm like, that makes sense. But that actually...
imitation.
Exactly. But that actually helped a lot of my students. They enjoyed that online classes because they were fed up of the study, parents at home, you're at home all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's traumatic.
Yes. So even though we are family, we never spent that much time together. It's like 24/7. We are all there. Multiple personalities. So we cannot get out. Only thing is work or study.
Yeah.
So creative liberation is always like...
Absolutely.
Go.
Everybody would, ask me how difficult was it. I'm like... Thank God for pandemic. I learned so much during pandemic. I'm like, pandemic is worst and hopeless, yes, and it has, destroyed many lives and families. But for me personally, thank God to pandemic, it opened avenues and channels that I did not know existed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as an artist, as an individual human, I grew a lot. So
I would still add on to that. I still don't like online classes.
I still like online classes. Like, get back to me. No, I still hate online classes.
But as an artist, as a dancer, the release of endorphins, whether you dance online, whether you dance, come to a dance class and do it, but all the stress that is surrounding us with, as you said, the number of deaths, families, whether will be a medicine or not, and all of those things. But when you dance,
you just let go of everything.
It's like, all that hormones, happy hormones. You're not worried about anything
And it's
else.
not just dance, if you're a singer, if
Yes.
you're an artist,
Yeah.
it was a time to, get down to work because you have nothing else. There is no fast life. Nobody is judging you. Nobody is calling you anywhere. You don't have to get to point A to point B. Everything at home, and you have amazing amount of time
Yeah.
to think what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
So-
Megha, let me ask you, like, while you were doing online classes, right? My kid is coming also to your class, but did parents pay more attention at home while they were doing online things?
Perhaps they were paying more attention. No, parents, yes. Some of the parents, yes. Some of the parents were like, deal with it. I am done. Please, that 1 hour, you deal with her. And I have kids that would, go under the camera, sneak under the camera because their parents wouldn't pay attention. And I've had kids that absolutely came out as budding artists. Wow. Yes. So, it depends from family to family, child to child, So it's...
And that brings me to, why we started Rave, right? I mean, it just talks about like how do we help each other do this better, because it is so stressful, because you do, whatever the reason for for the fact, any immigrant, right, doesn't immigrate just like that. It's not like we just leave something behind. We want to leave our families behind and just come. Perhaps in some cases it is, but majority of us, we don't, choose that life just because, it's not a lightly taken decision, obviously jobs and taking care of our families comes first, always, and we travel. And I always say, I think immigration is one of the oldest activities of human life.
Absolutely.
We're doing it for thousands of years. I don't think anybody stayed where they were born.
That's always.
So what do you think? So given all these challenges, and you've talked a lot about, what does how diversity plays into all this. Like you've already talked about a lot of that, right? You already have a diversity issue with the different roles all of you are playing. You have full-time jobs, you have kids, you're playing so many different roles. You are having to meet and interact with so many different people that you don't know, or you're meeting for the first time and you don't understand how they work, and we don't understand, they don't understand how we work and all that. And that lived reality of what diversity really means is a very, very challenging thing. So let's talk about that a little more, and then let's talk about how do you see Rave as helping solve these problems? Like, are we solving any problem, or are we, making it worse, or what's going on here? Let's talk about that honestly, and let's try to come up with solutions if they are not there already.
So I feel that just because we are in US, diversity plays a huge role because we are Indians in America. That's where diversity starts.
It's already
there. Because we are not in our mother country, motherland, where we were, where all these art forms were started, right? So it becomes even more important for, the host country to be involved. And that is true diversity, right? You make space for others so that, you can coexist and be happy in a happy place. And I genuinely, to even talk about my experience with Rave and diversity, I always tell that I've grown with the city. The city has grown with me. I have, that's a bond that I have with the city. And it's the same thing with Rave. I remember when I came here, there was no opportunity for dancers at all. And after trying and trying and trying, barely, in a year, we would have 1 or 2 performances. But when Rave came and started first advocating for the artists and art forms, it was nice because everybody were like, oh, diversity, nice, fine. But then when, the true colors started coming out, that, diversity has to be in our terms and not in your terms. And that's when Rave, I genuinely feel, that's when Rave had to put its foot down and say, this is what diversity means, actually. So if you actually want to be diverse, you have to do
Right.
and this is where the problem is. This is where the solution is. These are the ways where you can reach, to those solutions. Now, there are organizations that have picked it up and thrived. There are organizations that are still fighting and say, you walk and, you do it on our terms and, But honestly, cross-pollination of audience is because of Ravi. Cross-collaborating of different art forms is because of Ravi. And, the diversity that started through Ravi is now seen everywhere. It was Ravi that first started all these things and then Momentary implemented it. Yes. I still remember. So it's not like, Ravi is the best, but in terms of Indian culture and art forms, Ravi has taken a huge leap of faith. And I feel it is working. And there is a long way to go because, you cannot clap with just one hand.
Yeah.
So, all the organizations have to do it and they cannot just say that, we'll only fund if it's just this, we'll only fund if it's just that. That's not how, because not all artists and art forms are same. So you cannot compare ballet to Bharatanatyam to jazz to hip hop. Everything is different.
Yeah.
And the mechanics, the mechanism, the way the artists work, the thought process, everything is different. So the funding also has to be according to that. It's my honest opinion.
It takes so many conversations, so many meetings, and so many coffees, and and to your point, there are people who join the conversation, and there are people who step away, and that's fine. I mean, to each his own or her own. But yeah, that's a lot of
But
time
then don't talk
and
about
effort.
diversity if you were to step away from the harsh reality.
Exactly, and that's the truth, right? I mean, that is very much the truth. What about you girls? Because I know both of you do very different things, like you have a community dance group, so you're not into the professional, zone in that sense. But you do a lot of stuff during the year.
Yes. So, see, diversity, as Megha said, diversity is accepting, the other people in your space. But again, you have to accept the fact that each one brings their own unique perspectives and contributions so that your space or your land can also go along with others. Accepting that fact is diversity. You can speak about diversity, inclusion, equity, whatever, but you have to accept that fact.
Right.
So, speaking about Daffodils, as I said before, we are a group of women or moms who love to dance, who are passionate about dance. And one of the main things that Ravi has brought up to us is the opportunity. The opportunity to have, performances. We used to perform during each other's celebrations, for example, Diwali, Manvasai, or any other things. What you brought out to us is the stage to perform. Right. That
for
is
a wider audience. That is very important.
Yes. We performed at Crystal Bridges. We performed during the AAPI event.
Right.
That was us before a wide range of audience. Right. So the opportunity and moments like this do not come easy. So we are forever thankful for that. That's to Ravi.
Good. I'm glad it's working.
And one more thing I want to stress out here is Vidya, there are so many people who ask about how to connect with Ravi. There are people who have started dance classes, right? Who have started teaching Bharatanatyam or any other dance form. We have so many dance forms in India, and they, after watching us collaborating with Ravi, they come to us, hey Shika, how do we get in touch with Ravi?
You call the number, you email, it's super easy, and say, hey, I'm this, and this is for everybody hearing it. You want to get in touch with Ravi, please email them, call them, and find out what's more. What can I do to get involved? And there you go. It's as simple as that.
It's very true. It's very easy to get in touch with us. What we are looking for. I mean, so all these things that you guys are talking about, that requires a lot of commitment and time and energy from you all also.
Yes, that's so true.
We work behind the scenes, right? We're working behind the scenes, working with the environment here
Yep.
in Northwest Arkansas. We are working through that environment to make a space for ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I want to say actually. Like in Northwest Arkansas, we are Indians. Indians means we already are diverse people. For example, she's from Karnataka, you are from Tamil Nadu, we are from Kerala. So we are ourselves diverse people. But we are coming here and Rave kind of helped us to
Connect
network
with each
other.
Yeah, connect with each other. And also another thing is like, I'm doing Mohiniyattam, we are doing group dance, and you're doing Bharatanatyam, and there are people who do different forms of dance and different musical instruments.
Yeah.
So everybody got a chance to perform in Northwest Arkansas. So that opportunity only came from you. And we can do performances in our community festival, but that too are nowadays very competitive and very limited. If you are very pro at that, and that time you will get the chance, otherwise you are not getting the chance. But here is a platform, if you are going to stick to it, you get the chance to perform.
It's like if you don't want to spend time on yourself, if you don't want to invest in your art form, why would any other organization want to invest in you?
Exactly.
It's the question that every artist or every upcoming artist or wannabe artist have to ask themselves.
And that is all at Rave also. Our focus is, we welcome everybody, but you have to be serious about it.
Yeah.
What we don't encourage is the 5-minute pop-up. I practiced for, 2 months and I just performed and went. Because there's enough of that.
That's true.
Yeah, not to say, I'm not here to judge that or anything like that, but, we want to sustain
Exactly.
our culture, and sustaining culture comes with practice and keeping
work
and
and
perseverance, hard work, dedication.
And I would like to add the things you do like Natyam. Actually, it gave me opportunity, the confidence which I was lacking before, because I took a career gap, and Natyam kind of helped me come out of that. You know that.
Yeah.
It's just that initial push.
Yeah, exactly. So to do a solo performance, I'm still way behind where I have to be, but it gave me a courage to do a solo performance somewhere,
right?
To do something. Right. And then stick to it.
Yeah.
Because you are doing Natyam every year.
every twice a
So
year.
there's the only time, and that's because of you only, because you gave me another program at another time. So I couldn't do it, but I loved that.
I feel that all of us at one point or the other time started with Rave.
Yes.
Because I started with Sargam, and then my first full-on repertoire Margam was also with Rave.
Yeah.
Navarasa Margam.
Yeah.
So, where will you find opportunities without work, without, income? How will you, how can you afford to perform like that?
And without an address too.
Oh my God.
You're not there at home, but here nobody knows
I was an established artist there in India. I've performed extensively. I've done my exams and, known.
Yeah, yes.
But when I come here, Vidya is like, can you please send me your audition video? I'm like, yeah, sure. And my husband was like, audition video? Like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, who knows me here? Nobody knows me here.
Yeah, so that's you are opening a window for everybody who are ready to do it, ready to take the leap. If you are not taking the
If
leap,
they
then
can
that
see
chance is missed. But I like Natyam because you gave the option like basic, intermediate and advanced. So that means whoever is ready to do a small performance, like the small kids did. I loved the Kirtanam they did. Like,
it's like you want to do 5 minutes, you want to do
it's just
50
motivation,
minutes.
that's right?
That's you want to do 20 minutes, you want to do 1 hour performance, do it in Natyam. Build your... I remember I used to have conversation with her. I want to perform more, Vidya. And she's like, what is stopping you from performing? And, I go to all these workshops to, because I don't have a teacher per se here. So I go to all these workshops to build that for myself. So I'm like, I need to perform. I have a piece, beautiful piece. And then suddenly I realized, did Vidya not say that, if you want to perform, you just perform? And that's when Natyam was it. I'm like, guess what, Vidya? I'm performing. I'm like, wow, nice, good, great. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Let's keep the work going. Let's work together. Let's get more people in and let's do this more. Thank you all so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Like all good things, we have to, come to an end before we move on to the next one. But just a few call outs on, June 14th, we have some events coming up. We have some this weekend. I think we are having our chai time at Bradford House this Sunday. But in June, we have on the 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we have Art for the Ages. It's an art session mainly focusing on senior citizens above 60, but all are welcome. We have free food and transportation, and a wonderful artist who will be coming and, teaching you how to do art. And yeah, my mother-in-law has done it regularly now for 2 years, and we've started putting her artwork on our walls along with the children's, we're like, yeah. So I need to join one and do one myself. June 16th from 3 to 4:30, our chai time this time is at Creekside Park, where we are connecting communities and riding together. We are calling it the Transportation Mela. That's what we are calling it. So ORT is going to be there. Bike people are going to be there. Wow. All sorts of people are going to be there. Pentonville Moves will be there. We're going to have an e-bike there, for you to try it out if you've never tried one. We're going to talk to some moms about people who are already doing, who are taking their kids to school on bikes. Yeah. So we will talk about that. So this is going to be anything and everything about transportation on that day. We're even going to talk about talking about accessibility, right? Yeah. How do people with all sorts of physical challenges, how do they use transportation in our area? So we're even going to be talking about all that. So just come join us on June 16th. July 19th, we have the other Art for the Ages. And this time we are bringing in Interform to do a sewing class. Yeah, it's going to be real fun. Yeah, they're going to bring everything and we are going to learn. So we're going to do that. And then July 21st is our chai time. And we're going to be talking about summer fashion at the Springdale Public Library. So that's also going to be real fun.
Tomorrow we have something, right?
Yeah, we have at Faithful Public Library.
But this won't make it for production by then. So thank you all, Shika, Megha, Athira. Thank you all so much for all the lovely work you people do here. Thank you. We'll see you again at another session.
Thank you, Vidya. Thank you, Ravi.
Bye.
Bye.